with breaking news happening now. This is Wave News.
We start with breaking news. A Jeffersonville restaurant collapsed after an early morning fire. This is video of firefighters working to get the fire under control at Clucker's Restaurant on Riverside Drive. It's near the Riverside stage. And Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote has been live at the scene all morning. And what have we learned from firefighters, Kirsten?
Yeah, Olivia, well, what we've learned from firefighters that no injuries have been reported from this fire that came in around 1:30 this morning. They've been out here since battling tough wind conditions and some cold temperatures. So they said that this call came in just before 1:20 this morning as a trash fire. And they, when crews got on scene, they realized that the building was on fire too. And they've been fighting this ever since. And now they're still on scene here. You can see that they're still putting water on the building. And we're starting to see some of that charring and, destruction from the building here. Even some icicles forming from that. They say that 10 units responded with 24 people here battling these flames today. Now, thankfully, like I said, no injuries have been reported. The restaurant closed around 9 last night, and the department tells us that employees were all out by 10:30. Of course, the restaurant is fully collapsed, according to officials, as they remain on scene, keeping everything under control here. Reporting live, Kirsten Foote, Wave News.
Kirsten, thank you. And you can see how bundled up Kirsten is this morning. It is frigid out there.
Absolutely frigid. And this is going to be one of the coldest mornings that we see for this week. So this is not something that we're going to repeat over and over again, which is certainly some good news. But we're in the teens and low 20s to start off the day. 19 degrees in LaGrange and in Jasper. 20 now at the airport in Louisville. 21 into E-Town. 25 in Columbia. Wind chills in the single digits and the low teens across our region to start off the day. So this is what you want to dress for, those single digit wind chills. For those of you who are like, I need some sunshine again, bring me back some sunshine. Well, we are already watching the clouds overhead gradually starting to break apart, and that will continue through the morning, still dealing with some flurries here and there for those of you beneath those clouds. Over the next 12 hours, we'll watch the clouds clearing out. We'll get to enjoy some of that sunshine. Highs today in the upper 20s and the low 30s, and then we'll add back in some more of those clouds for later on tonight into early tomorrow morning, and that will bring some more flurries back into our forecast then. Rob?
Okay, Joanna, thanks so much at 7:02 on your early Tuesday morning. Good morning to you. We are keeping our eyes on one traffic concern for us right now. This is the area around 65 and 265. It looks like a disabled vehicle over to the left-hand lanes there, but that is, you're seeing the brake lights really kind of back up in that area. So if you are heading out 65 and 265, certainly an area you want to kind of watch your speed as you go through that area and navigate throughout the morning. Otherwise, not looking too bad on the big picture. A lot of green means smooth sailing right now. Again, the red icon there showing you the spot that we were just talking about a moment ago at 65 and 265. Your drive times right now still looking pretty good at 10 minutes or under using 65. We'll keep an eye on it for you throughout the morning. Olivia.
Thank you, Rob. Louisville Metro Corrections employees will soon have new top union leadership when the new president of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 77 is sworn in today. Daniel Johnson will be sworn in as the new president of the FOP Lodge 77 later today. He served in that role from 2022 through 2024. Johnson says his main goal when he takes over again is to improve working conditions for correctional officers by working to reverse the staffing shortage. Corrections officers already work mandated overtime, about 16 extra hours per week, he says. On those shifts, Johnson says the lack of manpower means officers are being overwhelmed with additional post assignments and duties, leaving gaps in surveillance that inmates are noticing.
And they see that and they take advantage of that, and they know, oh, we've only got one person working the floor right now. If we're going to jump somebody, now's the time we're going to do it, or whatever type of plans that they're trying to come up with, and it adds to the dangers of the job, and it's a stressful environment just to be in.
We reached out to LMDC to respond to Johnson's comments on the staffing shortage. We expect to hear from the chief today. We're hearing from a Metro Council member after a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed over the weekend. Police say the teen was shot on West Kentucky Street and later died at the Norton West Hospital. Investigators have not released the name of the victim or said what led up to the shooting. The city's gun violence dashboard says this is the 15th child between the ages of 11 and 17 shot and killed in the Metro this year. Metro Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins says the work of the Office of Violence Prevention is cracking down on youth violence. She wants parents to take more accountability for their children. Hawkins says if parents aren't doing their jobs, then the state needs to step in.
That when you can't handle your kids and you just don't want them to go down the wrong roads, then you have to hand them over. Sorry to say it, but there are services out there for kids that are underage that just do not want to abide by the law. I'd rather see my child be alive, and them be in services and under services that will get them down the right path, versus for me to get a call saying that my child has been a victim of a homicide.
Right now, there is no local facility to house juvenile offenders in Louisville. Both the former Jefferson County Detention Center in downtown Louisville and the state-run Juvenile Detention Center in Linden are being upgraded. One of the 3 men convicted in Crystal Rogers' death has been moved to a prison in Oldham County. Brooks Houck was taken to the Roederer Correctional Complex. Right now, Houck is serving a life sentence and appealing his conviction. Houck was Rogers' boyfriend when she disappeared in July 2015. The mother of 5 hasn't been seen since and is presumed dead. A jury found Houck guilty in July of conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with evidence. Louisville Metro Housing Authority is racing against the clock to turn the lights and heat back on for our high-rise apartment tenants as we drop back into the cold winter temperatures. St. Catherine Court Apartments hasn't had power since Saturday because of an electrical fire. More than 100 families living there have been moved out of the building and into hotels while crews work to restore power. The Metro Housing Authority executive director says returning to their homes depends on replacing a rare part damaged in the fire, but neighbors say they're just trying to get by while they wait.
I mean, they didn't give us enough time really to get everything we need. I still got a bunch of stuff up there, that needs to be taken care of before I have to vacate for good, because we just got put out.
LMHA leaders say families could return home as soon as tomorrow if a part is found quickly. While those residents wait to move back in, LMHA is trying to move out the remaining tenants at Dosker Manor. The apartment is being torn down because of the building's poor conditions. Voluntary relocation started in July 2024, and since then, almost all of the 578 residents have been moved out into better housing options. LMHA says one of the 3 Dosker Manor towers is already shuttered and surrounded by fencing and barbed wire. A new development will go up in its place, but the replacement plan has not yet been finalized. This morning, the Downtown Louisville Partnership is releasing its annual report card when it comes to growth and progress. This year, they say investments, new business openings, and development projects show signs of strong confidence in the city's urban center. Rob Wells is here with details. Rob?
Olivia, spokespersons tell me that key downtown achievements in 2025 include a $2.5 billion investment underway for some 80 major development projects. 8 new downtown offices or companies moved to the heart of the city, with an additional 3 that are currently on the way. 39 new retailers, restaurants, bars, and attractions opened, with an additional 17 also announced. Close to 800 residential units were completed this year, with 2,500 still in the works. And for green space, we're talking about 4 new small urban parks near residential areas. Officials say the key to the real success is getting more people to sample what the heart of the city has to offer.
The biggest thing that we need to be working on is residential development, because when you have people walking around, it is you and me on the street that creates that vibrancy. When you have that vibrancy and that many people, your perceptions of safety change, the services that come change, the retailers want to be part of that.
Infrastructure, she adds, is also part of that equation. She added that $1 million has been secured through Mayor Greenberg's new budget to begin 4th Street streetscaping and lighting projects, including underneath the 2nd Street Bridge. The Downtown Partnership estimates some 5.5 million people either visited or worked within the city limits this year. They're expecting those numbers to only increase next year. Back over to you.
Thank you, Rob. Kentucky rings in the new year with new laws, but the debate over minimum wage continues. We'll explain why one state representative is pushing for a $15 an hour minimum wage. Well, this morning, I hope you have that thick winter coat. Mine was sitting in my car yesterday. I'm like, oh, I got to bring this up to my apartment so I can wear it outside in the morning.
Yeah, you got to grab that. So hopefully everybody didn't do that and leave it in their cars. But for those of you who are heading out this morning, for those of you maybe who have to head to work, just keep in mind it's all about those cold temperatures in the teens and 20s to start off the day. Wind chills range from 6 degrees in Bedford to feeling like just 7 in the Shelbyville, feeling like just 9 degrees. Yeah, 9. That's it for the wind chill in E-Town. So everybody's cold this morning, and we are going to gradually warm up, eventually ending up in the upper 20s and low 30s for your highs this afternoon. Important note, though, is that wind chills are going to stay in the teens for most of the day, so that is something to factor in as you are getting ready. Now, bundle up and have the coats ready to go because of the cold temperatures, yes, but make sure those coats are good enough to deal with some of these wind gusts that we're seeing right now between 10 and 20 miles per hour, because we're going to keep those wind gusts in that same range throughout the rest of the day. We do see the wind relaxing, though, for later on tonight. We see the impact of that wind there blowing the flag around in the center of Bardstown, but everything's still festive and bright this morning in terms of the decorations, not so much the actual weather, because we still have a bit of time before the sun comes up right before 8 a.m. Plenty of clouds overhead. They are starting to break apart across our region, which is certainly some good news, and we're going to be watching that clearing happening gradually throughout the rest of the morning. So we'll get that bit of clearing showing up further to our west, but it's the next wave of clouds off towards our further west, moving out of Minnesota, that will bring in some of those additional clouds for later on tonight. So get that sunshine around for later on today, adding back in the clouds through the afternoon and evening, and then watching for some flurries flying overnight tonight into early tomorrow. For tomorrow, most of the day will be relatively quiet. If you're going to be out and about for New Year's Eve, important note that we'll still be in the 30s as we're ringing in the New Year. It's not even as cold as what we're dealing with this morning, but you still want to make sure you're cute and comfortable. And once we get into early on New Year's Day, here comes some light snow showers and flurries, but it's not for everyone. Mainly for those of you north and northeast of Louisville, this is where some of the flurries and light snow showers will try to move in, and some of this will try to stick. The key word is try. But for most of us, just talking about a dusting of snow, and that's going to be more likely for those of you north and east of the metro. If you're looking for some more accumulations, head towards Cincinnati, because that's where they have a better chance of that. New Year's Day looking pretty good with highs in the mid to upper 30s. We will take it. And then for tomorrow, and for the end of the week, I should say, towards Friday, this is when we'll add in more of those 40s coming our way. The weekend still chilly, still quiet, with some sunshine getting through the clouds here and there. And the beginning of next week, also quiet. We'll get a little bit of a warm up showing up towards next Monday. And then it's all about the chilly weather for the end of next week. And that chilly weather will be just enough as another system moves our way to bring not only the chance for rain in our forecast, but potentially some wintry weather. So we'll be keeping an eye on the end of the first full week of 2026.
Yes, we will. Thanks, Tawana. 21 states will be raising their minimum wage starting in the new year. A Kentucky lawmaker wants to do the same in the Commonwealth. Right now, it sits at $7.25 per hour. Jackson Plank has more on the bill being proposed in Frankfort.
When the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, Kentucky will have several new laws on the books, but not on the list any legislation surrounding minimum wage.
I think raising the minimum wage makes sense for the people of the Commonwealth and for the common working man.
State Representative George Brown has represented a portion of Lexington since 2015. Brown says that when the Kentucky legislative session begins in January, he will work to raise the state's minimum wage.
People are still trying to live in 2025 off a minimum wage that was put in place in the early 2000s.
What does Brown think is a good minimum wage? Well above where it currently sits.
At least $15, $15.50, $16 an hour. It only would make sense.
In July, the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy released a report saying the current $7.25 an hour minimum wage is a 75-year low in purchasing power. During an interview with WKYT in August, they told us that inaction has put workers behind.
Now, for the first time in our history, a full-time minimum wage worker who works year-round would earn below the poverty level.
At the same time, Brown acknowledges it will be an uphill battle trying to get a bill passed next year, but he says it is a battle he wants to take on.
Legislation is always a struggle, particularly if you're in the minority. which is where we find ourselves. We're in the minority party.
WKYT reached out to both the Kentucky GOP and Kentucky House Republicans for comment. We are still waiting to hear back.
The start of the General Assembly is 1 week away on January 6th. The U.S. military conducted another airstrike on Monday that targeted a suspected drug trafficking boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean. U.S. Southern Command says the attack killed 2 people. The Defense Department has carried out more than 24 airstrikes since the operation began in September. At least 107 people have died. The White House says it's targeting narco-terrorists who smuggle drugs, but did not provide evidence to back up the claim. The Trump administration announced the amount of funding each state will get for the first year of the Rural Health Transformation Program. The awards range from $145 million to $281 million. The program will award $50 billion over 5 fiscal years. Half the money will be split evenly among states. The other half will be awarded through a point system based on a set of criteria. Of that second half of discretionary funds, about 20% is based on a state's commitment to specific policy actions. According to a release, Kentucky has accepted $212.9 million in funding for the Rural Health Transformation Program. Governor Andy Beshear highlighted this funding will help lessen the impacts of recent federal cuts and help support health care in Kentucky's rural communities. Kentucky's plan will focus on several key issues, including chronic conditions, maternity care deserts, and behavioral health. Interim Jefferson County Clerk David Yates officially launched a campaign to keep that position. Yates was appointed to the position after former County Clerk Bobby Holtzclaw died in September. One of the biggest tasks Yates has faced since taking office was overseeing the Senate District 37 special election.
This job, it is about public service. It gets in to really just to what it means to serve your fellow man, your neighbor, not some red team, blue team, as much as it is just about helping, making sure that government services are available for people, making sure that things are open, transparent, and running fair and effective and transparent elections.
Yates was previously a state senator after serving on Louisville Metro Council. And a quick reminder here, if you have anything to take care of at the Jefferson County Clerk's office this week, you'll want to do it today or tomorrow. The clerk's office will be closed on New Year's Day and the day after that. They'll be open as normal starting on Monday. U of L men's basketball opening up conference play on the road. We have more on the challenge Pat Kelsey's team is facing while they're out west. Oh, this is some sad news. A longtime Lexington restaurant is closing its doors in just 2 days. Management and staff at Tally Ho confirmed doors will permanently close on December 31st. It's known for its late-night burgers and all-day breakfast and had been a favorite for UK students since 1971. The restaurant first opened on Winslow Street. It's only been at its current location off South Broadway since last August. Tonight, the 16th-ranked U of L men's basketball team travels to Berkeley, California to take on the California Golden Bears. The Cards went into their Christmas break with a 10-2 record before opening up ACC play in California. U of L plays the Golden Bears after a 10-day break. Here's head coach Pat Kelsey as the Cards prepare for tonight's game.
You go back to the basics. You have more of a preseason mentality and just tightening the bolts of both ends of the ball is what we've done here, or what we did for the first couple days after the break. And then we locked back into specific game preparation and scouting type practices as we've gotten closer to the game.
The Cards take on Cal tonight at 9 o'clock, and you can watch that game on the ACC network. Well, 2026 is quickly approaching, and there are several events happening around Wave Country to help you ring in the new year. Making its annual return is Kentucky Kingdom's New Year's Eve celebration. It's a festive, family-friendly way to mark the start of 2026 with rides, lights, and a fireworks show. Kentucky Kingdom will be open Wednesday, December 31st from 3 until 9 p.m. Fireworks are scheduled to start at 8:50 and can be seen from anywhere in the park. Tickets and details can be found on Kentucky Kingdom's website. And starting at 9 is a Taylor Swift dance party at Mercury Ballroom. Sing, dance, and shine into a new year as the DJ plays the stars hits all night long. It's only for adults 18 and older, even though I know the kids would love to join in. The Taylor Swift New Year's Eve dance party runs through midnight, and details can be found on Mercury Ballroom's website. Maybe those kids can just have their Taylor Swift dance party at home. Thanks so much for joining us for Sunrise Extra. Have a great Tuesday.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning. I'm Olivia Russell. You're watching Wave. A Jeffersonville restaurant collapsed after an early morning fire. Jeffersonville Fire says it started at the Cluckers restaurant on Riverside Drive just before 1:30 this morning. Investigators say the call came in as a trash fire initially. Shortly after that, it caught the building on fire. The building collapsed in that. Jeffersonville Fire says no one was hurt. Investigators are still working to figure out what sparked that fire. Here's Tawanda taking a look at the chilly forecast.
Yeah, we are starting off the day with temperatures in the teens and low 20s. So you're going to want to bundle up, especially with wind chills this morning for most of us sitting in the single digits. So that's something you want to factor in as you're heading out the door to start off the day. We're seeing wind gusts right now near 20 miles per hour. We're going to keep it in that range even as we head into the afternoon. And now we'll keep that extra bit of a bite to the air as the day goes along. Right now, looking at our SkyTrack camera, the clouds overhead, we're already seeing some breaks showing up in those clouds. And we'll watch those clouds continuing to clear through the morning and into the afternoon. So yes, we'll get some sunshine coming our way later on today as temperatures climb into the upper 20s and the low 30s for afternoon highs. As we look ahead, we are going to be continuing to monitor some more of those slightly warmer conditions for your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Keep in mind, for those of you heading out to celebrate the New Year, Thursday morning, we could get some light snow showers and flurries pushing through our area. So keep that in mind for travel purposes. The weekend, quiet, and then we'll keep things relatively quiet through the first half of next week. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much at 7:28 on your early Tuesday morning. Good morning to you. Not too bad out there. Clear, dry conditions. That's a great start to the final Tuesday of the year. We are keeping our eyes on an incident right at 265, a disabled vehicle over in the left lane there. So certainly you see the traffic lights backing up. Watch your speed through that area. Otherwise, the big picture not looking too bad this morning. Make sure to buckle up and watch your speed. Have a great morning.